Why people sometimes so insensitive? At some point in life, we all encounter people who seem insensitive. Those who speak without thinking, overlook our feelings, or act in ways that leaves us hurt. This can make us wonder why kindness feels so rare at times. The truth is, insensitivity often comes from misunderstanding, stress, or emotional blind spots rather than deliberately cruelty. By exploring why people behave this way, we can learn not to understand others better, but also to protect our own peace of mind. People can appear insensitive for many reasons, sometimes out of ignorance, stress, or lack of understanding. Insensitivity does not always mean cruelty. It reflects personal struggles, poor communications, or emotional distance. Learning why people act this way helps us respond with wisdom, patience, empathy, instead of resentment. This reflection explores the causes of insensitivity and offer guidance on how to handle it gracefully. Number one, lack of awareness. Many people are not intentionally unkind, but they simply lack of awareness of how their words or actions affect others. They may speak without realizing the weight of their comments or behave in ways that unintentionally cause hurt. This often happens when someone is focused on their own thoughts, problems, or perspective, leaving little room to notice the emotions of those around them. Without self awareness or empathy, they might overlook subtle clues like tone of voice, facial expressions, or body language that signal discomforts or pain. In reality, their insensitivity is not always rooted in malice but in a blind spot that can only be corrected with reflection, growth, and willingness to understand others. The Bible reminds us to be mindful of others' feelings and not act carelessly with our words or actions. In Philippians chapter 2 verse 4 says, let each look not only of his own interests, but also to the interests of others. This verse teaches us the importance of awareness, paying attention not just to ourselves, but also to how our choices and behavior affect those around us. Sensitivity grows when we practice love, consideration, just as God calls us to do. Number two, different experiences. People's sensitivity often depends on the experience that they've had in life. Someone who has never gone through the same struggles you face may find it difficult to understand your pain. For example, a person who has never lost a loved one might not fully grasp the depth of grief, and so their words may come across or swallow or dismissive. This doesn't always mean they don't care, it simply means they cannot relate on the same level. Each person's background, upbringing, and personal journey shape how they respond to others. Recognizing this helps us show grace, remembering that what feels obvious to us might not be clear to someone who hasn't walked the same road. In Romans 12, chapter 15, it says, rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. This verse reminds us to practice empathy. Even when we don't fully understand someone else's experience, sensitivity grows when we choose compassion over judgment. Stress or distraction. Sometimes people seem insensitive because they are carrying heavy burdens of their own. Stress, or worry, or personal struggles can blind them to the needs of others. When their mind is consumed with problems, they may intentionally overlook the feelings of those around them. Their insensitivity is not always selfishness, but often exhaustion and overwhelm. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good work make him glad." This reminds us that people under stress may lack gentleness, but with encouragement and kind words, we can help lighten their load. Poor communication skills. Not everyone knows how to express empathy in the right way. Some people are blunt, harsh, or awkward in their speech without realizing it. They may want to show care but lack the words to do so gently. Poor communications can make them appear uncaring when, in reality, they simply struggle to connect. In Colossians chapter 4, verse 6, it says, "Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer each person." This teaches us to use words wisely and reminds us that sensitivity often begins with how we speak. Self protection. At times, sensitivity is a defense mechanism. Some people act cold, distant, or dismissive because they fear being vulnerable or hurt themselves. By appearing insensitive, they try to shield their own emotions beneath the surface. They maybe belong for love and understanding, but struggle to express it. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8, it says, "Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins." This verse shows that love is the antidote to walls people build. Even when others seem hardened, love can break through their defenses. Here are some advices on how to respond. The lack of awareness advice. Gently communicate your feelings. Sometimes people simply don't realize they've hurt you. Practice patience. Awareness can take time to develop. The stress and distractions advice. Show understanding. Recognize that your insensitivity may stem from stress. Offer encouraging or support instead of reacting negatively. Set boundaries if their stress repeatedly affects you. Protecting your own peace. For communication skills advice. Listen carefully and clarify before assuming intent. Model good communication by expressing yourself kindly and clearly. Avoid taking offense too quickly. Their words may not reflect their true feelings. Self-protection advice. Respond with patience and gentleness. Avoid forcing them to open up. Show consistent care. Small acts of kindness can break down emotional walls. Protect your own emotional energy while being compassionate. Different experiences advice. Offer empathy even if they can't relate to your situation. Educate gently when appropriate, helping them understand your perspective. Accept that some experiences cannot be fully shared and adjust expectations. People may seem insensitive for many reasons: lack of awareness, stress, poor communication, self protection, or simply different life experiences. Understanding their causes helps us respond with patience, empathy, and wisdom instead of anger or frustration. The Bible encourages us to be compassionate, mindful, and loving towards others, even when they struggle to show the same in return. By practicing empathy and setting healthy boundaries, we protect our own hearts while creating opportunities for understanding, growth, and stronger relationships. Remember, sensitivity is often a reflection of awareness and love, and we can choose to model that in every interactions.